Hey everybody, good morning. We are coming at you without a stream delay today because we're going to be casting everything today from replays. Now, this is obviously not ideally how we would like to do the Olimoleague, but to explain the story on this before we get started with the cast today, we weren't actually casting this one. Fear Dragon was, but he had a lot of technical problems, and casting it live for him was no longer an option. He did manage to kind of cast one of the series. It was a little bit janky and didn't go so well. And wow, what the fuck? Where did that like shotgun sub come from? Thank you, Alice, for the 18 months, Noxiel EDM for the 17 months, and Nuznard for the 5 months. Noxiel says wowzers, and Fox Aura says hey BTTV. Oh wait, you didn't sub. You tricked me. You got a free message right out in chat. You son of a bitch, Fox Aura. I hope you think about your actions today and the friendly way you said hello. Anyways, I gotta say before you get going, and I know you don't like compliments and all that stuff, the fucking blonde works with the Corsair hoodie so well. That yellow, that black, you look so good right now. No homo? Question mark. The point is that works, girl. You working it today. Good job. Thumbs up.
Work it? No, I'm not gonna work it.
I'm just wearing fucking the arcade block t-shirt with the little Pikmin on. I feel like really like terrible in comparison, actually. Wowzers. Okay.
Yay.
Frozen Temple's gonna be the first map. We're gonna hop into it. And once again, these are replays. If you haven't seen, it's gonna be ByuN versus Super. Now the nice thing about these replays, before we get into this, and I gotta make sure I hide the timer and all that stuff, is that nobody except for the players, I guess, and Olivia know the outcome. Well, I unfortunately do too because I have the replays, but Zombie Grub doesn't, and none of you should either. So, unless any of you have that super secret, super ByuN hookup,
Yeah.
just casually, you know, it's that guy. It's like the one guy who like knows the score to this was also the guy who convinced him to stream yesterday. I would be okay with that. Like, ByuN was streaming actually this morning
still streaming,
too.
Man.
Is he streaming right this second?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that makes this really awkward. How could he possibly play in the Olimoleague?
I know.
ByuN's really cool, and some of the stuff on the stream last night was fantastic. If you haven't checked it out, I'd say fuck, go watch that over this, to be honest. But anyways, it's game number 1 in a best of 3. It's the round of 8 for the Olimoleague June monthly finals, and in the bottom right side, we've got the untouchable, unbeatable blue Terran player ByuN.
In the top left as the red Protoss, he is Super.
With quite the early prop scout. Not that this is super uncommon, no pun intended. But I was just gonna remark real quick that ByuN, someone's posting stats on this like yesterday after we saw it was gonna be like an all Zerg wildcard group or whatever, pretty much. That ByuN is apparently something like 37-0 right now. Is that for real?
I can imagine, yeah. It wasn't an all Zerg wildcard group though, because Super did end up winning.
Oh, that's true. Sorry, I meant sorry. Well, they were discussing whether it be Super or Silky. No, wait.
Oh, yeah.
No, Super is one of the Korean group. What are you talking about?
Did we just watch him yesterday?
ByuN goes to the wildcard group. So
oh,
it's
no, you're
Snoots,
right. Yeah,
ByuN,
yeah.
Solar, and ByuN.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I know I'm right. You can make me feel bad like that.
I didn't think it was making you feel bad.
I was like, damn, I got that wrong? Like, I thought I had that. But anyways, yeah, ByuN is seriously a monster. Super goes for a gas steal, which is a little annoying. But I will say this much before we get into it. The last time we saw ByuN, I can't recall which Protoss it was he was playing against, but I remember him remarking to me afterwards, like, man, like, I'm gonna paraphrase and put better English on it, but basically, I fucking hate Protoss. He said it much more politely. I think he said something along the lines of, like, Protoss really tough race, no fun, haha, stat face, but still, Super doing something like this, I'm sure doesn't make him feel much better, considering how just annoying this can be.
I got ByuN versus Protoss on my one screen, and then ByuN facing another Protoss on my other screen. It's pretty amazing.
So you can't wait to watch them both win for ByuN, is what you're saying?
Yeah, maybe.
The guy's a literal god. But yeah, this, for whatever reason, I don't know if it's adepts or what the deal is. This is the one matchup he does actually struggle with. And I only bring this up because we watched his TvT can really be back and forth, but I think is probably like a 60% T favor, if I like win favor, I guess. But Zerg is where he really kicks ass. Protoss is where we've seen struggles. And right now, Super might just be doing something a little bit gross. We have a Robo and a Twilight Council coming in simultaneously. And while we don't know if this is going to be a lot of gateways or not, it could be, and that's always the most daunting thing.
Yeah, you know, Resident Glaive, a War Prism, it's It sucks, but it could just be a regular opener as well. I mean, a macro game here. I don't know how Super's feeling versus Terran right now, or, you know, just in general versus ByuN. Like, I don't know. But if you start off a best of 3, it is a best of 3. Kind of got me caught off guard talking about the groups and whatnot. That was best of 5. Maybe throw out one macro game and test what ByuN, where ByuN is at. Shut up. Your
Sorry.
face.
What
Yeah,
about
that's
my
right.
face? It's beautiful and wonderful, and all the
I couldn't
ladies
tell
want
because
it.
I
Yeah,
never see
probably.
your camera.
That's true.
I just say, like, the time where I was watching those VODs where I was, like, talking about the
Yo,
drunk cast and
hang
stuff
on,
was, like,
no.
the first time I've seen your side of that.
But back up once. Well, first, what? You've never watched it before?
The drunk cast, just the
Yeah.
highlights, and it very, like, I feel like the highlights were mostly about me and my camera and in-game when you put my camera in picture.
That is very accurate. That is very
So,
accurate.
I didn't really get to see your face that often, but then I was watching the drunk cast, so.
So I was going to exclaim and ask though, like, man, I started off today with a pretty nice compliment for you. You can't just give me that one. You're just like, I don't know, I guess I didn't see it could be ugly for all I know, whatever.
I don't know, maybe I have a bad hair day. Who knows?
I
I'm gonna turn on
always
your
have a
picture and
bad.
be like,
I always have a bad hair day. I have trichotillomania. We've been over this so many.
no, we've been over this and that you actually have surprisingly good hair when you don't care about it.
Actually, I do. What fucking I hate is like I'll put gel in my hair. I'll like clean my hair. It will look horrible. I get all sweaty and gross and it's greasy and like my hair looks fantastic. I can't live like that. Nice pick up on the observer over here, by the way. So Super will be a little bit blind to what's coming. Some juking and jiving in the main. I guess he saw the observer and decided it wasn't worth it.
Yeah, I don't mind. Drop really
This
had
actually.
decisions.
It's funny because this played out earlier this week, of course, but ByuN on his stream got a highlight clip of him dodging fungals from this morning. Did you see that?
I didn't see it. I imagined
He basically did that, but on purpose over top of infestors to constantly juke and jive the fungals. It was so sick.
it. Well, he just took a really good engagement in the middle of the map here.
Right, and this should have been like a lot. Like, soccer's outrange
my God.
Marines. They don't have stim. They should have so
No.
easily gone for him, Super, but
Okay.
the medevac went down actually makes that pretty bad. I don't think this would have been worth any amount of the Widowmine kills, you know, having to give up that medevac like that. I mean,
that sucks, but
oh, well, Liberator actually drives off some probes over here. No kills, but still screwing around with the mining. Do we have the income graph? No, we don't. Okay. So this actually ends up being not so great for ByuN, but also not too terrible either. He's going for a tank behind this, so counterattacks might not be too big of a problem to deal with. I like that he's got double medevacs as well, so shuffling these around won't be out of the question. I think I think a common problem we see is like you go for the tanks and 2 thumbs up, but then you go for liberators and you can't move the tanks and they just end up being garbage. Whereas ByuN has showed us some really sick micro where you're like, you don't know whether the tank or the medevac's getting targeted, but somehow he always dodges out both, and you're like, how does he do it?
magic.
He can't keep getting away with it.
Apparently, it can. Double forge for Super here. I mean, all things considered, the little engagement in the middle of the map, the attempt at the warp prism, or sorry, widow mine drops. Both start with W. Everything's actually pretty even. Like
So does
literally,
Widowmaker.
resources lost is like 25 mineral difference. I mean, come on now, what's up with that?
Yeah. Actually, funny enough too, because that's I guess I expected it to be a little bit worse for ByuN if you haven't lost the medevac and all, but so many stalkers went down, makes sense.
Yeah.
But speaking of that odd little terrible joke I threw in there, everyone talking about Overwatch in chat, and I see my Bay Symmetra being mentioned. Guys, I am like, I was shunned last night playing my competitive matches. I met a guy and we teamed up. We did like duo queue, and he looked at my stats. He's like, "Bro, why the fuck is Symmetra like your #1 play?" I'm like, "What's wrong with Symmetra, man? Symmetra's great."
It's how you use them, man. I tried to
Her.
pick Zenyatta, and they kept yelling at me.
Actually, there's been a lot of. I'm actually quite enjoying it because there's really, for whatever reason, right now the meta of Overwatch seems to be like tanks and healers. So Zenyatta tears through all of them. It's really nice.
Yeah, but he's still a very bad pick when people know what they're doing.
Yeah.
He basically has to sit behind a Reinhardt, and if no one picks Reinhardt, then you're screwed.
Well, it's funny too because he only really counters the one hero that you shouldn't pick anyways, Hanzo. Like as annoying as Hanzo is, he's not a good hero for like these competitive
Yeah, Hanzo's
games.
not very good either. Yeah, I don't mind Zenyatta though. Like if they don't have a good like behind the scenes killer, right? And some teams don't, then I think he's good enough. But even though I didn't die for a good majority of the time, because I said I'll switch when I die, I didn't die, and they kept on yelling at me.
Stop!
Whatever, man,
Stop
something.
living! Oh wow. Okay, so something changing up here a little bit. First off, these tanks gonna be totally fine, I guess. Backs away. Super's going for Colossus, which, again, we're kind of finding is not really okay. You don't counter Liberators with a Colossus, but you counter like the Liberator gameplay with them in a way. And a big part of this has to do with the fact that because there's Liberators and there's gonna be Marauders and ByuN and all this stuff, Colossus, Storms, okay, they would be good. But the Colossus don't by any means outrange the Liberators. However, they can take hits from them. The anti-air mode doesn't quite cut it. If the Terran starts investing in Vikings, well, frankly, that's just always a bad investment. Even when you need them, they're still not good. So this will be interesting to see how ByuN handles this once he gets wind of the fact that this is Colossus. Because he very well may be just assuming it's Disruptors as you would in a normal TvP.
I mean, he's assuming nothing right now. He has never seen the robotics bay. So, I mean, he could think, like, you know, just mass immortal or something, but he is about to see the first Colossus. There's the scan. So he's going to run away for now. Again, if you can get a good concave, like, it still can go okay for you as a Terran, but Combat Shield isn't done. His upgrades are going to be worse eventually, and the Colossus will add quite a bit of damage, especially because he's still somewhat Marine heavy. He's starting to add on a lot of Marauders, though. You know, apparently, like, you know the reason the Marauder nerf happened? I don't know if this is 100% true, but I was reading like Reddit and there's that one guy talking about the Korean scene, right?
Okay, go
This
on.
is apparently they hated Marauders, and I only somewhat believe him because I think it makes sense.
They
that the
cater
Korean
so much to
scene...
the Koreans right now and in general, so I wouldn't be
Well,
surprised.
that, yeah. Plus, like, but remember back in Heart of the Storm, you had Maru just dropping Marauders on Colossus balls and winning, and people would have thought the Colossus was too stupid, or the Marauder was too stupid, sorry. So that might have been the reason they were nerfed,
But that nerf wouldn't really affect Colossus, it only affected Zerg.
Well, it affected how good the Marauders were in general, right? Like, it still hasn't really affected, like, versus Protoss like we thought it was, you're right, but I could see the reasoning. They were good against a lot of things. I mean, that's the whole, I guess, debate game philosophy, like hard counters versus soft counters, and Marauders were a little hard countery to a couple of different things. But anyway, I only bring that up because it is Colossus again, and you could have the same thing happen. I mean, ByuN was certainly one of those guys who could you know, have the APM to do all that.
Yeah, agreed, but I don't like the Vikings. I know it's a necessity, and you have to make them, but just Vikings are such tremendously not great units.
Yeah, I mean, they're not going to help out after they kill Colossus, which is always, like, the benefit of the Liberator. They help out even after they kill whatsoever, whatever.
It's like, I'm going to call it right now, it's going to be the Adepts that clean this up, right? Like, at the end of the day. The Colossus actually don't even go down. The Bioforce isn't looking too bad, but that army from the Protoss holding strong at 105 supply.
Yeah. The Vikings aren't rallied. He actually has 2 more back at the starport. I mean, the Colossus go down, this might have been manageable, but ByuN just lost.
He just lost to... I want to say it's the Colossus, but really, these doesn't do all that much.
These don't do.
They forced out a lot of Vikings, so I guess in that regard, the less Liberators in play, meaning that the gateway units get away with a lot more. But I mean, there's like one or two of these Immortals, 9 kills, 5 kills. A lot of the Adepts just kind of going through. GG. Super is going to be the one who takes game number 1.
Well, what's really changed up in Legacy of the Void is though the depths, you know? Like, in Heart of the Swarm, what were you backing up Colossus with? Usually Stalkers to snipe the Vikings. And those go down super quick to Marauders. The depths never go down.
Yeah.
Too strong.
One of the issues I think with the Adepts too, just in general, Mike, I just think it's their cost, man. You shouldn't be able to warp in so many so easily. Like, I have no problem with how strong they are. They should be that strong. But it's always just like we watch and we roll our eyes because like nobody can make enough to deal with that.
Yeah, it's I'm actually not sure what he should have done, to be honest. It wasn't like his macro was messed up. Again, they pretty much were on even points at one point in the game, and they just both, you know, went for a macro game. But maybe ByuN just needed to see those Colossus a little bit sooner? I thought he saw them pretty soon. He had like a good 2 minutes to prepare.
Uh-oh.
I don't know.
Hang on. My desk thing's not working. One sec. Why? Why you not working?
Because it hates you.
What if something got unplugged? Sorry guys, we'll get this next game going in a sec. What the fuck? There we go. Okay.
You good?
Nice. Yeah, the nice thing about having a rising desk is like when your elbow gets really sore, you can move it. And my elbow is really sore, and I didn't want to have to sit there like that for another 3 or 4 hours, depending on how long this takes. But we're almost good to go. Let me just get this set up. King Sejong Station. Ugh. And let's see here. Move this out of the way and get into the game. So once again, guys, these are replays. We're not trying to hide anything from you. This was cast about a week ago, and unfortunately the cast for it kind of malfunctioned a bit. So we are casting it now. Let's hop in the game. Alright, game number 2 in this best of 3, and a little bit surprising, I will say. In the top left, down 1 game, it's going to be the blue Terran player, ByuN.
In the bottom right, as the red Protoss, he is Super.
Now this bodes well for Super. I mean, we just talked about how he beat Solkey yesterday to qualify for the Ting round of 16. Super's won a couple of tournaments on our own. He's actually looking really good as far as just general statements go for Protoss right now. We are seeing a lot of Protoss players struggle after all, and not a lot of Protoss in general.
Yeah. Yeah, Super is slowly rising in my mind as like a very considerable Protoss. Like, now that you throw him into a best of, he's actually going to maybe throw a wrench into your plans, like ByuN winning the Olimoleague, for instance.
Yeah, I mean, I expected ByuN to win this series and the entire Olimoleague, but at this rate, that 1-0, I don't know, could go either way. We have seen ByuN do a lot of this stuff, though, where he'll lose the first game and then come back 2 points, or come back 3 points, and just look more fantastic for it, so I wouldn't count him out just yet, but it's a good start for Super.
Yeah. Don't forget that the winner of this is actually going to go on to face Pili, who faced Gumiho. That was the one that was cast, but apparently like a slideshow.
Yeah, and Pili beat Gumiho, by the way, so he's a little bit on the up and up. He actually won an Olimoleague to qualify, and one of the only foreigners other than Neeb to ever actually win an Olimoleague.
Yep.
So question...
Really? I thought he got like second place.
Or maybe second place, whatever. The point is, like, he got far enough to qualify for the monthly finals, sorry.
Yeah.
But I was going to ask, did ByuN win the game he was playing on stream versus Protoss, or did he lose?
Did, yes. Yeah,
Okay.
he went for a lot of ghosts. It's very interesting.
Oh, that's
Anyway.
interesting. I would like to see what a lot of Ghost versus Protoss looks like, actually.
It was fun looking, but...
Well, because they wouldn't take a lot of damage from Stalkers. They would beat Adepts in fights, just auto-attack-wise.
Yeah, that's mostly where they were going. Like, there was very small-scale battles everywhere, nothing like a big, humongous army, so the EMPs were doing very well, and he only had to split against like 1 or 2 disruptors. So they worked. I don't know what led him to that conclusion, and maybe there's a ghost in this game. I don't know, but he tends to do some really weird stuff. I mean, he was called Ghost King for a while because he used Ghost a lot. He was the only guy that was using Ghost for some time.
Oh, I thought it was just because, you know, he died and disappeared.
I mean, I would have thought because it was like any Korean name where he like went to the dictionary and was like, Ghost King. That sounds great. Let's do that.
I want to almost do that. You know what we should do? We should, while we're in California, which by the way is a week from now. What?
Right? I'm so excited.
Anyway, well, I am. That sounded sarcastic. I'm assuming you actually are. But my point is, we should finally get Korean dictionary or something, and each of us takes a turn just randomly picking 2 words out of the dictionary, and that becomes our Korean pro gaming name.
Okay, I have a pocket dictionary.
Reverse engineer it the way the Koreans pick the English names.
In fact, I'm gonna try it right now.
Oh my gosh. In before she picks City Bus.
Pocket Korean dictionary. So let's make sure I'm on the Korean one. Yeah, okay. Here we go. I'm in the E's. Hold on. Ul. By way of.
Ul. Oh my god, Reina.
I got a D. U. De Jopara. De Jopara. Treat. Something special too.
So.
That was great.
You're going to. We're on the way.
By way of.
To get a special treat?
Special.
Okay, attack does commence, by the way. Widowmine's gonna come down, but there's already an observer out, so this won't get as out of hand as it normally would. And ooh, actually, maybe not. I thought the Hellions were gonna get blocked out by the Stalkers. They make it to the main. Now the Mothership Core's gotta focus on getting that overcharge off and stop these probes from dying. ByuN does pick up and come up here. The Hellions, unfortunately, though, do get driven off. One dies. And tries to get the observer. That would have been a great pick, but loses the medevac, loses the scan, loses a Hellion. This goes terribly for ByuN.
It really does. Thanks to Ryan for the 5-month resub.
Yay! Raugen. Seth Raugen.
Rogan? Okay, yeah, that went really, really, really bad, and ByuN is in a fairly bad spot for it. See if the Liberator can add anything more. It should actually be able to get some denied mining, because the pylon's not in the very back, but he's chilling, he's waiting.
How can ByuN be on 2 streams at once? Guys, if you don't know, ByuN's actually hosting replays on his stream, but we're casting live.
Totally, that's how that works.
I mean, I feel like when we open this and we try and state publicly, hey guys, this is from replays, and we say it before every single game, at some point people are like, oh, is this live?
Well,
the other one that actually almost tilts me is there's always that one guy that comes in and is like, is this a rebroadcast? Considering over the last year we've ran like less than 18 rebroadcasts ever for the something like 1,000 days we've cast.
Maybe they're so used to watching the ESL rebroadcasts. I think that's all there is in StarCraft 2.
That may actually be a decent point. After all, they are the backbone of viewership. If you didn't see that wonderful Reddit thread.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, another robotics bay coming down, so Super likes that Colossus play, or liked how it worked against ByuN at least. You know what's interesting? If Super wins this, we'll have a PvP. A PvP-ly.
Forsooth, and stop thy puns.
Yeah.
I like the Raven, by the way. This is kind of cool. I don't know if he was expecting DTs or if he just want to have the point defense drone, because we have seen quite a bit of point defense drone usage in this particular matchup. Looks really cool. Stops the adept attack, stops the stalker attack. So either way, just all around good to have. And let's not forget that auto turret does some pretty considerable damage too. But that missile turret finishing up. A lot of these SCVs are almost dead. We look at the workers killed 1 for 1. Yeah. 1 Liberator, 3 adepts, 1 worker each.
I'm feeling pretty bad for ByuN, to be honest. Look at the situation here.
Are you gonna be honest?
Yep, I am. The third base already saturated for Super, and his production already finished up. His tech is on the way. Like, I know ByuN's gonna have this somewhat decent attack here, but oh, never mind. It's not even that decent. It's using Medivacs.
Yeah, he went for Raven. Who needs a Medivac if you can prevent all the damage, dummy?
Yeah, that's my bad.
Have you even played this game?
I mean, I know ByuN's army number is bigger, but it won't be for very long. With that production all set up, Super has, I don't know, he has a lot of control in this game. ByuN is about to move out, though. The War Prism decides not to try and duck in once that happens. It's weird.
I want to give a shout out to BMW Nick One for having the worst possible timing in chat.
Oh, you.
Stalker's
BMW.
Stalker's gonna escape with 1 HP. War Prism's coming back home too. I guess there's not really a whole hell of a lot for getting away with, but you're right about this attack. Like, it really doesn't have the support it needs to work.
Yeah.
Seeing that Colossus is gonna be a little bit daunting too, because he still needs to make medevacs, so he can't even think about Vikings, much as Liberators.
Right, and a second Colossus is already out, so that push doesn't really work, and that push was supposed to do something. His third base is only halfway done. The Adept, I guess, denies it even further. Fourth base on the way for Super already. Oh, God. Double drop's going to the main. Or, sorry, double drop's going into... Maybe, well, they wanted to go to the main, but they're going to drop off of the fourth base now.
Okay, hear me out.
Huh.
This Chaotic Ranger... Hang on, we'll get to that stuff in a sec, but this is more important. Chaotic Ranger brings up a great point. I hadn't considered this. I mean, we don't know whether this is live. We don't know whether ByuN's stream is live. But, how do we know that ByuN's stream's even real? The guy doesn't even use a webcam. He doesn't even speak. His name on the BattleNet was Speak Now, yet somehow he can't find his voice on stream. Methinks that's not the real ByuN.
Have you ever heard him talk? He's a really nice voice, actually.
Yo, the other part of this, too, is like, he did delete that tweet saying he was streaming earlier. Perhaps because someone hacked his Twitter account? The Illuminati, anybody? No, thank you, Polar Fan, for the new sub-hype. Big love, man. Raven, go! Put the point defense shot! There you go! Stop that damage from coming in. Now, actually, this would nullify all damage. You can run into the Colossus if you really want to, but he just doesn't have the medevac support to do it. He knows that we know it, and unfortunately, so does Super. So he's giving pursuit, and this is just picking off that bio, whittling it down. That tank needs to live, but where's the support? It's Widowmines, it's Marauders. It's a great-looking army that doesn't have any medevac support. 3 medevacs is not enough.
No, it's not. Good concave, but Guardian Shield gets popped. Stalkers actually make, I think, a great mistake right there. What is that?
The Widowmines get some decent hits too, but the Colossus just will be a little too much. Even if all the gateway units go down, I think the Colossus have no answer.
Yeah. I think Super has done it. And able to have this third that wasn't even an orbital yet. Oh no. No Gusta.
Someone in chat bring up another great point. Olimoleague, who's famously known for hacking Twitch accounts, may have hacked ByuN's Twitch account.
And is playing on it?
Her stream. I mean, have you guys ever seen her stream? You don't know that she's not a Terran god. But GG though, seriously, this was a bit of a surprise to me. Super, maybe 2-1. I could give it to him in like a 50-50 odds type thing. But I would never have guessed Super 2-0's ByuN. That's actually damn impressive. We talked about him looking okay in that first game. That's really impressive to me.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought 2-0, but after seeing the games, I can understand the 2-0. Oof.
Alright, and speaking of replays, one sec. Okay, so updates on tomorrow's Ting group, because for those who don't know, we are going to be casting the Ting European group. We're going to be, so it's 5 best of 5s tomorrow, but 4 of those are only going to be live. Bly apparently has a dentist appointment that he can't get around, so he's going to play his series versus Euthermal, I guess, tonight and give us replays for it.
Interesting.
But he'll be here for the second match, which makes sense because of the order we do things, right? Like winner, losers, and all that stuff. So, I had messaged him and Euthermal about this earlier, and they're just getting that sorted now. So, cool. All right. Next up's gonna be the semifinals. So we've got Peely versus Super. As we said, if you're drinking a cast, Peely versus Gumiho. Peely beat Gumiho. That's surprising. I also forgot that this is going to be, oops, the wrong replay. Let's alt F4 out of that. This is going to be a best of 5, as it's the Olimoleague monthly finals, not a best of 3 as your typical Olimoleague would go. So we're going to go to a small commercial break before we get this started. I got to restart StarCraft and all this good stuff. And we'll see you guys in 2 minutes.